Hello folks. As should be obvious from the title of this presentation, it's on cracking Windows passwords with BackTrack and online rainbow tables available at plaintext.info. Now I'm going to try to do this presentation a little bit more off the cuff. I have in past presentations rehearsed things too much and end up talking in a rather monotone voice. Part is because I record the video first and then I have to try to sync up audio to it, and sometimes I don't allow myself proper timing. So if there's a few things I miss or a few things from the audio aren't quite in sync with the video, well, deal with it. Now, so as to keep from repeating myself, a lot of the information you might need to know for this presentation I've actually put in other presentations before. Matter of fact, one of the #1 things that people come to my site from Google for is how to crack SAM files with syskey enabled. Watch all these presentations I have listed, and also you probably want to read the HTML pages I put up as well. The first one on a local password cracking presentation, go check it out. It'll explain what a rainbow table is. It'll explain how brute force password cracking works. It'll explain about SAM and syskey and so forth. The second video I list, called Cracking Syskey and the SAM on Windows using SamDump2 and John, basically shows how to crack the SAM file using all open source tools. In this case, I use the old Auditor boot CD. For this video, I'll be using the BackTrack boot CD. All the tools I'll be using during this presentation, I'll have links for at the end of the presentation. Also, there's 2 other little files you might want to read that's on my site. Read the one on cracking syskey, both of them. One version I use all open source tools, and in the other I use some commercial tools, one of which is a program called SAM Inside. Now, in that particular article, I say to use an older version of SAM Inside because the newest version does not support exporting to pwdump from the demo version. That's no longer true. They put that functionality back in, so just download the newest version of SAM Inside from their website. Just Google up for it. Click Next when you're ready to continue this presentation and see how to dump the hashes you need using the BackTrack boot CD, and then submit them to the plaintext.info site for cracking. Alright, you see I have BackTrack up and running in the GUI. I got to this point basically by logging with the username root and the password Tor. Now by default, BackTrack does not automatically start up the network interfaces, so I'll go ahead and see which ones I have using ifconfig. Give a quick ifconfig space -a, tells me what interfaces are possible. Then I go ahead and I can ifconfig up eth0 if that one's available, and then I can use the DHCP CD, that stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol Client Daemon, at least as far as I know. Start that up and I can get an IP address. At that particular point, I'm now on the network and I should be able to contact plaintext.info. Well, all that wasn't directly related to cracking SAM and syskey. I figured it'd be kind of useful for anybody who's new to using BackTrack. Believe me, from various stealth reasons, it's a good idea they don't automatically configure the network interfaces on boot up. As mentioned in this presentation's title, the URL we want to go to is plain-text.info. Read this intro text when you get a chance. Basically, it explains it's a distributed system and they have a huge freaking set of rainbow tables they can use for trying to crack password hashes. If you need more info on using plaintext.info, check out the IRC channel. But before you ask any questions, please read the FAQ first. One of the cool things about the IRC channel is that it actually has bots listening where you can dump your hashes and eventually get back the password that corresponds to that hash. A second ago, you saw me open up a separate tab with the info stats page. If I see 2 of 2, that basically means there's no room in the queue for me to enter anything as an anonymous user, so I'll have to wait till I see like 1 and 2. With no further ado, let's get to cracking. First thing we gotta do is, since this system has syskey enabled, which pretty much any modern Windows system will have, we have to use the program bkhive to dump the system key. This is only going to be possible if the system file stores it, which on most systems it does, unless they're using some kind of boot disk, or if someone has to enter a passphrase on startup to actually get syskey to work on the machine. Most people aren't going to bother to do that. Most of the time, this should work. After using bkhive, we're then going to use samdump2 to actually get the hashes using the syskey we got previously. Also in this video, I'm showing you how to mount the partition you have Windows on. In my case, it's HDA1, it may be SDA1. Just look around the mount directory and figure out what it is. In this case, BackTrack had already mounted that particular partition for me. From here, I'll go ahead and use bkhive and point it at my system hive so I can dump syskey. Notice that I do have to keep proper capitalization in Linux to make this work. Try using the tab for auto-completion. That's why you see a couple of times directory listings pop up, because I'm using tab auto-completion because I'm too lazy to type everything in exactly. I also tell bkhive where I want to dump the sys key. I'll just go ahead and choose the present directory. Once bkhive is finished running, I now have my system key in a file called key in the present working directory. Since the syntax for samdump2 is very close to bkhive, I'll just arrow up and modify the command line a little bit to run samdump2. Pretty much just pointing at the samhive is all I have to do, and change the command to samdump2 instead of bkhive. If I wanted to, I could pipe this command out to a text file using the greater than symbol. However, I want to just print out the standard out and see it, and I'm going to copy and paste the line it gives me. The output that samdump2 gives us is basically the same as the Windows command pwdump if you had it installed on your machine. This contains the username, the user ID, which is always 500 for administrator, as well as both the LM hash and the NT manager hash if they are present. I'm just going to copy the administrator line so I can paste it into the form at plaintext.info. Despite the fact that it looked like I just clicked paste, I really clicked copy, it just missed a few frames. I can now go check out the status page and see if there's any room in the queue for my hash. I have to paste my pwdump formatted line into the form. I also have to enter a security code. The reason I use the security code is other sites have been trying to leech off of plaintext.info's site, so I had to enable these kind of security codes to keep other sites from automatically using their resources. You also have to enter what kind of hash you're trying to crack. Since I have an LM hash in this particular line, I'm going to choose LM hash because it's going to be far easier to crack for reasons I explained in my other presentations. Keep in mind that an LM hash is really two 16-byte long hashes, corresponding to two 7-byte passwords. They're just catenated together. Now the website informs me that both these hashes have already been submitted previously and I should do a search for them. That's because I submitted them previously just to test them. Had I not submitted already cracked hashes, I would have to go and view my hashes, look for what hashes are there that other anonymous users have submitted, and see if they've cracked yet. I see what the progress of them that they've been cracked is, and what the plain text that particular hash corresponds to is. Now I'm going to use the search function on the website to search for the two half hashes that I submitted. After doing a little looking around, it becomes obvious that the plain text of that particular hash is zombie prawn. Don't ask why. To understand why LM hashes are split in two this way by the website, please watch that first video presentation that I linked to in the previous segment. Click next when you're ready to continue this tutorial. Here's a list of links that may be useful for further research. As I said before, I used the BackTrack boot CD. The version I used was a beta, but hopefully it's going to be about the same by the time you get to it. Go download it from remote-exploit.org. The plaintext.info website is, of course, plain-text.info. Duh. Also, check out the IRC channel if you have any questions, but only after reading their FAQ. Also, check out the Wikipedia entry on rainbow tables to find out more about how they work. I want to give special thanks to all the following: all the folks involved with the plaintext team for providing this useful resource, the Informaticon.org crew, Nick at rootsecure.net for the news, and all the folks at antionline.com and binrev.com for the participation in the forums. Have a good day.